First Watch with Sheriff Mark Daniels on KWCD Bisbee Sierra Vista, hosted by Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler. First Watch is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
And welcome to your Friday. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas. Good morning.
Good morning, Cochise County.
All right, we're getting a little bit of a late start because we were just on the phone with Sheriff Daniels catching everything up so we could catch you guys up.
That's right. So welcome to Sheriff Grady, Sheriff Carroll, because Sheriff Daniels is not available at this particular point. He's been crazy busy with all kinds of stuff going on.
Yes, he has. He's always busy.
Yes.
Well, let's start with he was at a powwow in Flagstaff. Tell us what happened there.
Yes. So this week they have an annual powwow that's held in Flagstaff, and it has state, local, federal agencies. They talk about all things that are impacting public safety. It includes, the governor's office members. It includes prosecutors. It includes law enforcement. So everybody gets together. They have a really important thing to take care of as far as having breakout sessions where different people meet. Jails, Commander Bradshaw was there. So everybody gets together and they make sure that they hash out any issues. They find similar challenges, they find similar solutions, and they're able to just network and know that you can reach out and get information that you need to get and you need to share, and it's personal one-on-one.
And the sheriff is always trying to get into events like this where he can speak for Cochise County and, put our message out, but then also let everybody else know what's going on here.
That's right. And he, in doing that, also going nationwide. He just got back on last week from Georgia. He made a quick trip out there so that he could do a speech and talk about things that are going on in Cochise County that impact, not only just border, but relationships between our federal and local and state partners, how we're networking and doing that, how we have our Border Operations Center up. Captain Williams has been traveling. He's also talking about all of the wonderful things that are going on in Cochise County. So it's a pretty good idea to have this information, and it's so much more impactful if you have it in person versus having an email, having a phone call, having even a Zoom or some kind of Teams meeting. It's really important that you can talk to people one-on-one. You can answer questions. You can get a lot from nuances, when you're just having the conversation. So it's really good that we have our people out in the field doing things all for the good of Cochise County.
And Sheriff Daniels does keep us on the national stage, so a lot of people, including the president, knows what's going on here in Cochise County, which I think is phenomenal.
That's right.
So a lot of people are probably tuning in today to find out more about the home invasion that happened in Golden Acres, because that's made news interest statewide. So give us an update on that situation.
It has. So the Special Operations Division, that includes our Detective Division, they were instrumental in not only pulling together a multi-agency search warrant effort and using the Special Weapons and Tactics team. They performed a couple search warrants in the Sierra Vista area, and again, following leads, doing what they do, and really being very good at it, being able to identify 2 of the 4 suspects and actually having them in custody. So if you go to our Facebook page, you'll be able to see on the original post that we updated that, and you'll be able to see the 2 people that we have in custody, what their charges are, and we're continuing the investigation. So we're hopeful that everything turns out and we're able to identify the remaining 2 suspects. And it's really a scary thing. So you're at home, you're asleep, and then you wake up and somebody's in your bedroom and they have a gun. Another very, very important aspect of this case is the secondary target was actually the home that was right next to it, and it was locked. So we have to kick off a campaign, and they're doing this again in other places throughout the nation, of it's 9 o'clock check. And so they want to make sure you check your vehicles, that everything's locked up. We want to make sure that, we're not in Mayberry anymore. You can't just go and leave your homes unlocked, and that's a sad state of today's society. So make sure you have your doors locked, you have your internal security measures taken. Harden the target, because you have to make sure that even your vehicles, if you think nobody's going to get in your car, we've had a rash of that happening even in your neighborhood, Grady. So want to make sure that people are aware that they take care of business, have situational awareness, and make sure you keep yourself safe first and foremost.
Lock your doors.
That's right. It has to happen.
Well, let's talk about some events that are coming up. In fact, there's one today in Whetstone.
There's a senior and health and safety expo. It's at the Cowboy Calvary Church there right behind RV City. It starts at 10, it goes to 1, and they have a lot of different vendors, and I don't mean vendors selling things, I mean vendors as in educational booths. You have people from all walks of public safety, of community awareness. Go there if you have a moment and talk about, things that could help you in your everyday life. The Sheriff's Office has a program known as Are You Okay? And it's a dial-in program. It's an automated system that checks on you if you have, challenges in having caregivers and having people check up on you. So that's an available option, and it's an automated system. If you don't answer your phone and perform the functions that you're requested to do, then they will send an officer. So we give you a three strikes you're out. Make sure that you try to answer. Sometimes you forget and you have a doctor's appointment. Sometimes, unfortunately, you end up in a hospital. So we'll try to find out where you are and what you're doing and how best to take care of you. So that's just one of the many, many options. They're going to have people talking about, how you can keep yourself safe, how you can get additional medical assistance, how you can sign up for social programs. So all of that's going to be happening today, again, at the Cowboy Calvary Church behind the RV City, and it starts at 10, goes through 1.
And that's today in Whetstone. Make sure you check that out. Also, scams. When we're talking about, a senior expo, scams is another thing. And there's always scams going on in Cochise County. We want to remind everybody to be aware and kind of try to learn about scams.
It's really important, and it's not just Cochise County, but I'm telling you, these criminals are incredibly good at what they do. And when we post something, we always get a few naysayers saying, well, how can you be so dumb to fall for that? They're amazing at what they do. I was someplace yesterday out of Cochise County, and I was really happy to see that in this place, that this Walgreens, I'm just going to say it, I was just in Walgreens in Tucson, and I was overhearing a conversation where a woman had come in, and the clerk was being adamant, why, it's not my business, but why do you need a $500 Green Dot card? And she said, because my dad, who's in the car, he can't get around, he's not very mobile, his friend needs money, so he's going to get this. And she said, I have to sell it to you, but I'm just telling you, can you check with your dad and see if he knows who this friend is? Is it really a friend, or is it somebody who's called him? And she went over this about for a 2-minute conversation, holding up the line, but that's okay, because it's really important. The ultimate outcome of it, from what I could see, is the woman went back to talk to her dad at her vehicle. By the time I finished my business and left, she was still talking to her dad outside. So she hadn't purchased this $500 Green Dot card. So if we can get everybody involved, and it's not people being nosy. If I want a gift card and I go into wherever, Staples or Fry's or Safeway, and I want to just get a gift card, people have asked me, do you know who this is going to? Do you know what you're going to do with it? And annoyance, maybe, but not so much, because at least I know somebody's looking out for my welfare, and that's what we all need to do collectively, is just make sure we take care of one another. So if somebody asks you why you're buying a gift card, don't get offended. They're not being nosy. Well, maybe a little bit, depending on the value, but they're not being nosy. They're there to help you, and just give them a break, because they are looking out for what's best for you.
And another event that's coming up is at Cochise College, and it's going to be this Tuesday, the 22nd. And this is a pretty monumental event for the Sheriff's Office and law enforcement in general.
It is. So they're having a ribbon-cutting ceremony for the demonstration vehicles. And so what they are, if you haven't seen it, go to the downtown campus, because they have Tahoes. They have, patrol vehicles. They have an ambulance. So you get in there, and it's just like the video games of back in the day, where you could sit in the little car and you could drive, but this is real time. They took the time to actually map all of Cochise County. So when you're in there, you're sitting in a vehicle that's traveling on a real road under real conditions, And it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. And they're working on getting a helicopter too.
Yes.
So if you're just excited about all of the possibilities, they're going to have the ribbon cutting. Local law enforcement and federal law enforcement have dumped money into all of this. Thank you, Cochise College, for being the catalyst to make this happen. It's just amazing what they are doing now with making sure that our training is top notch. Our people are able to go through simulators just like you are if you're going to get your pilot's license. You have to have some simulator time. Just imagine the people that are going on the NASA spaceship. They have to go through very similar things, but we have it right here in our own backyard.
It's pretty cool. I think it's the only one of its kind for law enforcement so far. They want to duplicate it, but it started here.
It is. Yeah, and that's
cool.
one of the things that, this is going to be the beta, and they can just go ahead and take that nationally. But Cochise College working with law enforcement is an amazing thing, and look how far we've come.
That's awesome. All right, we've got a couple of safety messages for you. The first one's about your animal's feet, because it's hot out there.
It is. And, you just pretty much tend not to think about that. And you see some people that have their animals out there, and if it's 100 degrees and you're on pavement, you have shoes on, hopefully. If you don't, you're not going to be out there.
Right.
Even the people with the hardest soled feet, they're just not going to be out there. And make sure you take care of your animals. It's laughable if you see animals with little booties on. You don't have to go to that extent as long as you make sure you take care of them and not take them outside on the pavement. A lot of suggestions that we've seen come through our social media sites are, if you put your hand on the pavement and it's too hot for your hand, it's too hot for your animal's feet.
That's a good one.
It is, but try taking off your shoe. And even if you just have a sock on,
walk
with them and see what happens.
That's a good point.
And it's not good for your animal. It's borders animal cruelty. It truly does. And I know some people say, well, that there's no other option that I have. I have a 100-pound dog, and we've got to go for a walk. Well, try to be strategic. Make it early in the morning or late in the evening. And if you have to go somewhere, can you leave the animal somewhere else? Like, can you leave them home? Can you leave them with a friend? Can you leave them with a neighbor? Can you leave them in your yard? Whatever it is, because you really don't need to put them through that. And there was an animal that just dropped. There was a dog that the people had to take it to the vet. They said, we don't know why our dog is just not able to walk. Oh my God, did he have a heart attack? And after the whole, shooting match through the veterinarian's office, the bottom line was this: the animal had burned his paws so bad he just could not walk. And so the people who own the animal didn't even think of that as a possibility. So now you have a veterinary bill, you have your poor animal that's in misery, now you have a wallet that's emptier. Make sure you think of all of those things, and first and foremost, you can walk a little bit later with your pet.
And another safety message before we go is about the weather, because, here comes the rain.
Woo-hoo.
And also we're going to talk about sandbags a little bit.
Yeah, so go ahead, take a look at cochise.az.gov. That's Cochise County's webpage. You can see where you can get sandbags. Really important that you are prepared. You have to be proactive in the monsoon. And it's not sneaking up on us. We need more of it, and it seems like what we've been getting so far is okay. We just need a whole bunch more of it to carry us through the season, because we are in a significant drought. So keeping that in mind, take a look at around your house. See if there's, just places where you can shore up. If there's some place that that's leaking and can benefit from a sandbag, take a look and see where you can get those sandbags free. You can get the bag, you can get the sand. They even have shovels at some of these places. Be prepared to fill your own sandbags. If you can't do that, there's going to be help for you. There's going to be phone numbers that you can call and see if you can get some assistance of some kind. Also, roofs. Roofs are leaking right now. Skylights, just regular cracks in your roof. Just be prepared for all of that. Target is a huge example. It's a big company, and the Target in Sierra Vista is just having significant struggles with roof leaking. So that's going to happen at your house if you're not careful. So make sure that you take a look at all of the things, and most importantly, if you are driving, please don't think that 2 inches of water cannot take you off course, because it can. People that drive through washes or drive through roadways that they believe is not that deep and they get stuck, personally I've seen people who have died from this. and it's been years since Cochise County has suffered a critical incident like that. But please, please don't be the next one, because it's not good for you. Obviously, you may not survive it. It's not good for your family. It's not good for your friends. It's not good for your loved ones. It's not good for law enforcement, and it puts us into danger too if you get stuck and we have to have our search and rescue or our personnel go to help save you. So please, please turn around. Don't drown.
All right, well, we're going to got more First Watch coming up in just a minute, but Sheriff Daniels will be back next week, and we'll have him back on the radio as well.
And he's got stories.
He does, yeah. some pretty crazy stories coming up. That'll be next week. Tune in for that. First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
Giving you an inside look to your sheriff's office. Let's go back to First Watch on KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. I'm Grady Butler, with me is Carol Kappas and our next guest.
Welcome back, Cochise County. And Brittany's here from Sierra Vista Animal Care and Control.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being here today. So introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what's going on.
Of course. So I'm Brittany Schultz. I'm a Senior Animal Control Officer with the Nancy J. Brewer Animal Care Center in City of Sierra Vista. I'm here to announce that we are having an adoption event tomorrow, July 19th, at the shelter, which is located at 6799 East Highway 90. From 10 to 2 is the Splash Zone adoption event, while the discounted adoption rates will last until we close at 5 p.m. Our normal dog adoptions are $75, which will be on discount at $50 per dog, and then we also have cats that are usually $50 that will be going for $25. And so it's a good event that you can bring your kids out, have them play in the water, splash around, get to play with dogs in the water, and there'll be frozen treats, a dunk tank, the munchie machine. It'll be a great time.
Oh my gosh. So is this the first one that you've done like this?
Yes, so this will be our first summer bash water event, just to kind of cool off the summer and get one more big hurrah right before school starts.
And you guys had an expansion recently. So how many more kennels did you get?
So yes, we finally finished our expansion. It's a total of 18 kennels, with 14 of them being in our adoption courtyard, which are full of animals right now. So we're hoping everyone can come out and adopt a dog tomorrow.
So they can, if they go there, they can just play with a dog. They figure out that that's the one they want, and then they can just go ahead and take the animal home.
Yeah, so we would have you come and kind of meet the animal, get to know them, fill out an application, and then we can probably process the adoption tomorrow, and most animals are ready to go home same day.
And is there an opportunity to bring your current dog to make sure they get along?
Absolutely. So if you have another dog, we do require a meet and greet. We want to make sure that they're going to be friends and not enemies. And there will be lots of water activities, so you can actually bring your well-behaved dogs to play with the water tomorrow as well.
Awesome. All right. Well, invite everybody out to your event tomorrow one more time.
Of course. We hope to see everyone tomorrow, July 19th, at our Splash Zone adoption event held at the Nancy J. Brewer Animal Care Center, located at 6799 East Highway 90, from 10 to 2.
Well, Brittany, we thank you for coming and talking to us today.
Thank you so much.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
Giving you an inside look to your sheriff's office. Let's go back to First Watch on KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. I'm Grady Butler. With me is Carol Kappas and our next guest.
Welcome back, Cochise County, and thank you, Sarah Pacheco, for being here today from AREDF.
Yes.
And so
for
that's
having me.
almost like half of the alphabet.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to let you tell us who you are again in this role and what you're doing.
Yes, so I'm Sarah Pacheco. I'm the Assistant Director of the Arizona Regional Economic Development Foundation. It might be easier just to say ARED, so drop the F, because then it rolls off the tongue a little bit easier.
ARED, I like that.
ARED. It's an economic development foundation. It's been around since 1985. And we have several buildings where we have co-spaces for small businesses where they can get support for their small business and grow with us inside our spaces.
And so that new location that you have is pretty amazing, and people may not know what it is or where it is.
Yes, so the foundation has owned the building since 1998, and it was a call center for 20 years, which is probably how most people know of that building. It's now going to be the Community Innovation Center. It's on Enterprise Way, and it's a very large building. But it was a call center for 20 years. Call centers kind of died during COVID as a business model, but then also as they either offshored or they kind of went online type of job. And for the past couple years, it has functioned as a charter school campus. While the ALA school was building their campus in town, they used that building as a campus. And so now we are moving into the space and calling it the Community Innovation Center. So what used to be classrooms on one half of the building is being leased out to small businesses. And if they're in our space, they'll get a lot of support from us as far as I have done a lot of reviewing of small businesses' marketing plans and giving them thoughts on how that can be improved, and also business counseling and how they can grow and best position themselves, etc. And then also in the space, we have one half of the building is just a giant open room. And with this past year, the TMAC, the Thunder Mountain Activity Center, has been repurposed for a different use. And so there was a real desire to have a large conference space. And so we have been hosting, or going to be hosting, some large events there.
Because you have a grand opening that's coming up next month.
We do. So our grand opening is August 16th. It's at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, and it will be kind of a twofer on the grand opening, because we'll have open house where you can walk the building, but also our partners at the Institute for Digital Inclusion Acceleration, or IDEA, are opening a hive in Sierra Vista.
What is that? This is awesome. I know what it is, but tell us what that is.
Okay, a hive is a free technology hub for the community where you can come in and learn how to use technology, or even bring in your own device, your own phone, and learn how to use it better, because they'll have digital navigators on site there to provide this resource to the community. Our focus on our end is, of course, entrepreneurs and small businesses, and helping them learn how to use technology to upskill their business, or even maybe bring it online. But it's also open to anyone who wants, especially our nonprofit partners who, I've had people come in and say, I want to learn how to make an online video with my phone and don't know how to do it and how to start. So even just getting that kind of guidance as well.
Up to like 3D printers and things.
Yes, and we'll have lots of technology in the space, 3D printers, laser engravers, a robot, I'm told, and then, of course, a computer lab that is packed with software that they could learn how to use that they probably wouldn't subscribe to at home, because it can be expensive.
All right, so let's talk about how to get a hold of you and take advantage of all these things and get in on the grand opening, all of that. What's the contact information?
The contact information is, the website's aredf.org, or you can find us, of course, on Facebook and LinkedIn and X and all of that. And or you can contact me, Sarah Pacheco, and that's PachecoS@aredf.org.
All right, so let's invite everybody out to your event one more time.
Yep, August 16th at 3 p.m. at 4251 Enterprise Way.
All right, well, we thank you for coming and talking to us today, and we look forward to the grand opening.
All right, thank you.
And Carol, how do they get a hold of us at the Sheriff's Office?
So reach out either by calling 520-432-9500. Take a look at our webpage at cochise.az.gov/sheriff. All kinds of cool things going on there. Also, if you want to check out our social media sites, it's Cochise County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Mark J. Daniels, which will be our Facebook page. That'll give you links to our Instagram and our X account.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
You've been listening to First Watch, brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. Keep up to date. Follow the Cochise County Sheriff's Office on Facebook, and tune in next Friday, 7 a.m. for First Watch right here on KWCD.